I'm Oscar Ward, running for place 5 on the City Council. One of the questions on SAPOA's questionnaire for City Council candidates was, what qualifies you to be on City Council? I like to list 3 to 4 qualifications. First, my education. I have a Bachelor of Science in Industrial Engineering from the University of Houston. I also have an MBA with a finance emphasis from the University of Texas at Arlington. Second, I have a successful management background and career in the building and construction industry. I've managed large workforces, major plant expansion projects, P&L responsibilities for multi-billion-dollar operations. Third, I have a record of leadership service with the City of Irving. I was chairman of the Building and Standards Commission for the last 2 years and served for another 2 years for a total of 4 years. I recently, according to the city charter, I recently had to resign from the Building and Standards because the city charter states that once you file to be a candidate, you must resign from whatever commission or board you're in. So I complied by that. I had the honor and privilege in 2012 and 13 to be elected and serve as chairman of the Charter Review Committee. Y'all may remember that last year in May 2013, there was 25 amendments. And each one of these other 8 gentlemen that was on the committee with me were appointed. And I like the system the council used this time. I understand in the past, the Charter Review Committee had much more than 9 people. So each council member selected a citizen to serve on that committee. And it was a great privilege to work with those individuals. As I said, we were recommended the 25 amendments that were all passed May of 2013. I also served on the Zoning Board of Adjustments and Appeals for a number of years. Also, along with my qualifications and what motivated me to run, I strongly believe that it's very healthy for an incumbent to have competition. So I'm running to serve the taxpayers and citizens of Irving in a professional and respectful manner that the citizens of Irving deserve and expect. The other question that was addressed by SAPOA that they wanted comments on, of course, was the oil and gas. After this forum is over, I invite you to my table. I have a one-page copy entitled Irving Gas Drilling Milestones. In summary, it states that since January the 12th in 2006, the City of Irving has issued only 2 permits. One was never drilled and has since expired and would need council approval to proceed. The second permit was to drill on an existing pad. Of the 2 wells that are on that pad, one had a casing failure and never produced gas. The other well is Irving's only producing gas well. As far as the ordinance for oil and gas drilling being adequate, it certainly needs to be reviewed, and I think it needs to be scheduled or reviewed at least every other year. But my question would be, after 7 years or 8 years that it's been in existence, why hasn't any city council member been addressing the adequacy of that ordinance? That's a question that needs to be answered. I will support and sign the new proposed ethics code of conduct. In that code, it references the Texas Local Government Code, Chapter 171, Conflict of Interest, which requires a council member to abstain from voting on an issue where a relative benefits financially. Fourth, I'd like to add to Mr. Landry's comment about the city and the community getting together with the school district. Our public education community and its relationship with the City of Irving is very important to me. I would recommend when elected that we revive the Education Committee as a formal liaison between the City of Irving and all school districts in the Irving, meeting as needed to communicate areas of mutual interest and benefit. The next item I'd like to comment on, and this comes from my South Irving, 35 years. We moved here before Southwest Park was open. As soon as they had that pool every summer, I knew where I could find my 2 sons. They were at the pool. No more pool closures without public input. Southwest Park, pool closed. So was Northwest Park. So that should never happen again. That addresses the transparency issue of why it happened. I don't recall, I did some research, there was no public input of why those pools was closed. That will never happen if I'm elected and on the council. The third thing is some major funding that's right around the corner for the city of Irving. First, one of the most important issues is securing additional water sources for the future of Irving's economic development, both for business and residential. The next funding we will be faced with is for the development of the Texas Stadium site. It's a 79-acre site. So the funding question is, of course, we don't know yet. It could be public-private. It could be 100% private. Or those are the two issues that I want to be involved in with my background in finance and engineering. But just as important is the properties adjacent to that Texas Stadium site. They're principally owned by University of Dallas and Central Freight Lines. There's about 300 or 400 acres. So what it encumbers the city to do, to be responsible, whatever may be developed on those sites, to be compatible with whatever the product is on the Texas Stadium site. The third funding item that will happen in the next 2 years, or decision will have to be made, is near and dear to my heart, being a South Irving guy. Funding for the redevelopment of Irving Boulevard and 2nd Street as part of the revitalization of the heart of the Heritage District. The Gateway Group, the consultant the city is now engaged, have recently revealed for public viewing their ideas of how to accomplish what we need to do on the Main Street, or I'm sorry, on Irving Boulevard and 2nd Street. And it's also my understanding that an RFP on the engineering design of these street modifications will be issued soon. In all these funding issues that I just commented on, my focus when on the council will always be keeping the eye on our treasured AAA bond rating, your AAA bond rating. That's so important. I'd like to close and again thank SAPOA and Oakview Baptist Church for putting this event on. I would appreciate your support. I know a lot of you may not live in District 5, but if you have friends and you feel like you need to tell them to vote for me on District 5, I have a District 5 map. You're welcome to look at it, and if your friends would like to see that map, I would sure like to get your vote support. I need your help. Thanks again. Appreciate your attention.